Mike Milbury's reign of terror is over, at least for one season. We regain control of the team in the aftermath of the Blackhawks falling short in the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Penguins, of course, went on to win the Stanley Cup. It was very bizarre to have to root for Colorado, but that is exactly what I had to do. Now we move forward with what is, again, a very important offseason for this team. Thank God we have control of the club when we do. Again, of course, there is the debate. Comment section of the last episode. What happens when Mike wins? God forbid what happens if he wins the Stanley Cup. Does that mean he gets control of the team for the next season? Again, all questions that we're going to answer eventually, but trust me, I have a lot of stuff marked down as far as suggestions that you guys made, and I thank you very much for those thoughts and ideas. Appreciated as always. I love you, even if you didn't leave a comment. You should have, but even if you didn't. And by the way, just speaking to the YouTube stuff, you know what you could do right now? Drop a like at the start of the video. That's what you should do with everybody. That's what your old pal Toog does. I watch a lot of people on YouTube. I load up a page, first thing I do, bam, drop a like. So I don't even have to remember. Don't have to be reminded. And also, if you are one of the 33% of people who are not subscribed to this channel, what's the matter with you? Now, I'm happy about this community. 66% of regular viewers on my channel are subbed. What are the other 33% doing? What's the matter with you? Unbelievable. Selfish. Anyway, as we mentioned, very big offseason. DeBrincat, Kane, Boqvist, Taves, Kubalik, Mitchell, Barrett. Goaltending has to be sorted out. There's going to be a lot that ends up going down here. And actually, we didn't want to back out because we do want to get to the renegotiation process as quickly as possible. And again, figuring out the goaltending for this upcoming season is one of, if not the main goal, I would say, that we have. Now, Wooter Peters, I know I'm going to bring back. We're just going to try to sign him now. He's going to be looking for a one-way deal, which is surprising. But if we can just get him under contract, it's at least something that we don't have to worry about. For our regular goaltenders, Mrazek and Shesterkin, Mrazek with a 9.11 in the regular season wasn't good in the playoffs. Igor Shesterkin with a 9.02 and a 9.02 in the playoffs as well. We're going to be letting go of both of them. Mike did a great job of actually getting decent goaltending, but yeah, we're going to be looking to bring in somebody different. Defensively, this is going to be tough. Because ideally, we'd let somebody go, and that way Dylan can be a top 4 defenseman. So we're looking at somebody here ideally being on the way out so that we're not exactly wasting money. It's just a matter of whom. Obviously, Seth Jones, we signed him to that deal. We signed Pulock to that deal after Milbury picked him up. And then in the system, technically, between Fitzgerald, Murphy, Bogosian, excuse me, we're going to be letting go of a lot of these guys. We are stuck with Brendan Smith, of course. It's kind of a tough call. But as far as expiring deals, is the contracts that I'm worried about. What is Fitzgerald looking for? That's not bad. That is a damn good contract to sign somebody to. If he's willing to sign that, I'm willing to keep him, especially just as like an AHL specialist. Connor Murphy, we're going to drop. Bogosian, we're going to drop. Dennis Gilbert wants a one-way deal, huh? If he's willing to sign that deal, we'll keep him around too as an option. Ruta's going to go, Reinke's going to go, and that's that. So the big thing is Boqvist and Mitchell, and I want to sign some other people first before we, take care of the big time contracts. Mackenzie Entwistle, though, I definitely have plans of keeping around. 2-year deal at 1.5. Did he want to resign? He did. So we're just going to 85% trick this dealio. Drop that down to 1.325. And if he's willing to accept that deal, I'll be a happy boy. Andre Altai-Barmakian. If he's willing to sign that contract, that would be a steal for us. And Nordgren as well, continuing to develop. If he's willing to sign that, that would be spectacular. For the left wings, Hagel, I'm willing to keep around for the AHL team. Let's go with a 1-year deal. That's fine by me. John Quinville, I don't know yet. Kayumov, Fortan, Barrett, and Kane, and then obviously the centers. We have some interesting ones. Philip Kurashev would preferably go nowhere. So we'll see what happens with those first couple of contracts, and then we'll get into the big boy contracts as we get closer to the draft. Which, again, we have freedom to do basically whatever we want. Entwistle rejected. Apparently it was laughable, and now he no longer wants to sign. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. We literally offered him what he was asking for, except for maybe like one other year. But okay, sure. Hagel's back, so that's good. Fitzgerald has signed. Kurashev, Gilbert, Altai, Barmakian, Peters, and Nordgren. So everybody signed except for Mackenzie Entwistle, because of my laughable offer, apparently. So that leaves us basically with the big boy contracts. Looking at the money, $41 million. We're going to get the UFA deals done first, of course. So we are going to be starting off with Dominik Kubalik. And again, someone like Boone Jenner is likely to be on the way out. We might as well negotiate. See if we can knock this price way down there at 4.4 for one Kubalik. We'll get back to talking to Entwistle. By the way, I'm no longer interested in an extension. Oh, really? Looks like you are. So that's kind of dumb. Patrick Kane is staying, ideally. He wants a one-year deal. That kind of scares me that Milbury could let him go next year. But I think I'm willing to try and pull this off. This actually really does scare me. If we can get Kane, though, at 7.5, that would be unbelievable. John Quenneville, I'm interested in keeping. The Quenneville, Nosek, Entwistle fourth line, I really liked. And I wouldn't mind having that be the fourth line again this year, or at least, having the option to run that as our fourth line. If he's willing to accept that deal, I'm good with it. And then centers, Jonathan Taves, 35 years old, not exactly looking for much at this point. Still going to try to get him for cheap at 3.7, which is such a team-friendly deal. And then Devin Shore, Trevor Moore, Casey Cizikas, all three are going to go. Obviously, Devin Shore and Cizikas weren't additions of mine. Milbury brought them both in last year. So let's see what happens with the 85% trick. Quenneville is back. Good stuff. Boone Jenner's happy about it. Spoiler alert, Boone, you're probably gone. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, both take pay cuts, as does Kubalik to stay. Fantastic. Again, in the past, I used to not recommend trying the 85% trick with UFAs, but this year, if they want to resign, it does work a little bit more frequently. So that's tremendous. Absolute steals for those contracts, and that leaves us with just the big RFAs to go. So defensively, we have basically $27.8 million. Oh, Boqvist and Mitchell. I think we'd get more out of those two in terms of a return via trade rather than trying to go for the offer sheet route. So we're going to sign them if we can. With Boqvist, I want to go for a 3-year deal because he should still be an RFA at the end of that contract unless that tracker is still a little bit broken or bugged. So this would be $405 for one Adam Boqvist, which would be a great deal for us. Ian Mitchell as well might be the odd man out. Good God. Whew. 6 years, huh? He wants to commit that future to Chicago. Yikes. How about a 1-year deal at $4,675? Your opinion on that? I highly doubt he's going to accept. Alex DeBrincat. Whew. Okay, now see, here's... Oh my God. 17.4. Jesus, we could only drop that down to 14.8. Oh my God. Okay, so if that's 14, that in theory is 13. It's a little bit more still. That in theory is still around 13. This is gonna be 12, 11, 10 million bucks. I want him for more than 1 year. Jesus. This is insane. So 13 mil. This is actually 11. We could get that down to just over $11 million for 3 years. Whew. Well, we know where the Kane and Taves money is going. So that's just over 11. And this exact price for a 2-year contract is $10.15. I'm going to try to sign him to that. There is a chance that I could wind up trading Alex DeBrincat this season because we can apparently not lock him down to a long-term contract, and that is a problem. That is a problem. Mackenzie Entwistle. Let's try this again. 1.8 for the next 2 years. Left wing, Evan Barrett. Prefer to hold on to you. 1-year deal. Still be an RFA at the end of it. Let's see what we can sign you to. 3.45 is the price. Not bad. Alex Fortin. I mean, if I can sign you to that, that's a steal of a deal. Artur Kayumov. If I can sign you to that, that's a steal of a deal. Then for our centers, again, those 3 are all going to go. And as it is, we have had Trevor Moore in the King series. So let's see what happens here over the next few days. Ian Mitchell signs. Tremendous news. Good stuff. Alex Fortin signs. Entwistle, Boqvist, Barrett, Kayumov. Still waiting for DeBrincat, who signs. So we're good to go. Heading into the draft, we have everybody signed that we're hoping to sign. Shore, Moore, Murphy, Bogosian, Cizikas, Aruta, Reinke, Mrazek, and Shesterkin are on the way out. So our business is taken care of. Now it's just a matter of sorting out the rosters, seeing what happens in free agency. We have $8.7 million to work with, which is going to be the goaltending. But of course, we're still looking at probably moving Boone Jenner out, potentially some others. So the draft pick situation, Arizona, Winnipeg, and Tampa, the top 3. Of course, this draft class, I have no idea what information I'm really going to have. But Eric Stahl, Justin Williams, Mikko Koivu, David Krejci, Bobby Ryan, and others all call it a day. Carl Hagelin didn't even hit 300 points in his career. That's shocking to me. For defensemen Zdeno Chara and Shea Weber. Duncan Keith retires as a Chicago Wolf. Johnny Boychuk, Shalom Raton, Ryan Miller, Alex Stalock, and the Hamburglar. We're going to have new staff members at the very least. Please let it be Duncan Keith. I want head coach Duncan Keith. Damn it. Williams and Giordano. Vlasic became a scout. That brings us to the pre-draft interviews. Let's take a look at the info. Mike, what are you doing? You didn't scout ROW at all, huh? It's because they were Canadians that I didn't put onto a junior team, so they show up in ROW. You know, just whatever. Whatever. It'll be fine. It won't be fine. Let's go to the draft. Let's see what kind of rabbit we pull out of the hat here. So just quickly to look at the team and what's going on. Draft pick-wise, we do have our first, which is shocking. We don't have a second, though. So for the goalies, we're going to try to do whatever the hell we can here in terms of getting some value. And then again, defensively, somebody's got to go. And I'm thinking it's going to be Ian Mitchell. But somebody's got to go. Yeah, Mitchell and Boqvist were both signed, of course, this year. And it's Mitchell who doesn't have the term. It's got to be Ian Mitchell that goes. I like him a lot, but, you know, Milberg bringing in Pulock, my decision to bring in Seth Jones. It just kind of means that we're not going to be using Ian Mitchell moving forward. And, of course, drafting Dylan. That's just one of those things where the defense changed considerably compared to what I thought it was going to be. But that's just the nature of a series like this. So we're going to go to the trade finder. And we're going to sell whomever we can. Looks like we'll be able to get something for Shesterkin, a 7th-round pick from Carolina. I'll take it. We're not bringing him back. And Peter Mrazek. Mrazek. Can't get anything for him, unfortunately. Can I get anything for Kron? No. I might tack him onto a deal. I mean, there really is no specific rule about getting rid of Milbury draft picks, but obviously it's like if I can stop him from signing some of these guys, I probably should. So looking here, Ian Mitchell. What are people intrigued giving up here? 16th overall pick and a second from Boston, which would be spectacular. We don't know how good Hellenius is, but I'd rather have that first because then we could look to trade up again. Butler, 2 seconds of Master Simone, first rounder next year, 13th overall pick this year. That Boston trade looks spectacular. Ooh, Jesper Wallstead, Sam Lafferty in a third. The rights to Braden Point and a second. Holy God. Okay. So that Bruins pick or that Bruins trade looks great. We need to see with Wallstead how good he is right now, and then we need to take a look at what the situation is with Braden Point. The problem is, how much money is he going to be looking for when we still have to figure certain things out? So Wallstead's currently a 74. I mean, Wallstead in 2 seconds, and then we get our goalie for the future. That's not going to solve the issues now, but it does solve, the futures question. And then Tampa with Point, they just do not have the money to sign him, which isn't shocking. His rights are incredibly low, though. It wouldn't make sense to not currently trade for Braden Point's rights, just to see if we can get him. Even if we give up a second round, Jesus Christ, that guy's great. Even if we give up a second round pick for nothing, it makes no sense to not acquire Braden Point's negotiating rights. None. So we're going to do that really quickly. I just want to see what they want me to give up to make that a deal. But yeah, no trades found. Okay. Well, if I hit find trade, yeah, nothing's going to go through. Okay. Let's make this happen, Tampa. I want Braden Point's rights. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off, but considering we have assets, I mean, yeah, you just don't have money right now. That is the problem. You are a cash-strapped team. So, I mean, like even our second round pick next year would be pretty close. Obviously, we're not going to give up Ian Mitchell here. We also do have this prospect here who sucks. Like, his overall is terrible, but we can absolutely, use him in a trade to make something happen here. Wow, the value really falls off. And then forward-wise, they just can't afford Boone Jenner. But the problem is he only has 1 year left, which is interesting. And, of course, I want to get rid of him. So, yeah, Niebeck, Lackey, 62 at 19. And then Sinzing. I'm going to trade you just because your name is a problem. You're not worth much. Actually, you kind of are. You're a low elite, but you're a 50 at 18. 6th round grinder. This is exactly the type of guy I'm willing to risk to try and get Braden Point's rights. Exactly the type of guy. Not under contract. Perfect. They also have Patrick Laine rather than re-signing Braden Point. GM trade logic, ladies and gentlemen. Will this go through? No. What about now? Quite far off, they say. That's fine. I mean, we're getting him. I would be an idiot to try and not get Braden Point here. So let me just tack on my unsigned prospects to just artificially inflate the value here. Because I can do that in this series. Will that go through? Yes, it will. We have acquired Braden Point's negotiating rights, which absolutely changes the situation for what we're going to be looking to do this offseason. Because now if you look at our forwards, I mean, goal number 1 is sign Point. The team moving forward, the future, DeBrincat, Point, Strome, Doc, Kubalik, Nylander. In theory. So Jenner definitely has to go. Kane and Taves, we'll see what the long-term plan is with them. Let's sim this Winnipeg pick. They take Standard, who's a medium elite 80 overall. We're going to go back to the trade finder. Now that we've acquired the rights to points. Again, goalie-wise, there was nothing I could do with Mrazek's rights. We have to figure out the goaltending, too, of course. So back to the Mitchell trade. We could go for Wallstead, or we could go for that deal from the Bruins. Damn. I feel like Wallstead's the safe move. But that trade offer from the Bruins is spectacular. Let me see who the highest rated goalie is in this draft. And I wish I had double-checked upcoming goalies again for free agency. But for goaltenders, highest in the draft, Yzerman, McCormick, Orpik. Okay. Do we take this time to get a goalie for the future? I feel like we have to. But through the trade finder, what can I get for Boone Jenner is the question. 2 seconds from Arizona, that Helen Hughes prospect from Boston, as well as Butler. The 16th overall pick, so I could still get that 16th overall pick. 2 seconds from Calgary, Brady Shea, who we don't need, of course. Parker, Soderstrom, you know who I was hoping to see. From the Rangers, let's go. Yes, New York. Yes. So we are absolutely going to use Boone Jenner to get Jesper Wallstead and a second and a third in this year's draft. And then we're going to use Ian Mitchell to get that first, and I believe it was a third or a first and a second from the Bruins. That is a good bit of business for us to get rid of Boone Jenner. Send them out east as well. Let me just double check this in terms of safety netting. See if I can add a 6 just to get a little bit more value. Boone Jenner, you are going to be a New York Ranger for Wallstead, a second and a third. No doubt, one of the moves I regret the most ever, probably, Boone Jenner. He did pretty well for us, like way back in the day with the CBJ/Quebec City Nordiques franchise mode that we had in NHL 17, I believe. But yeah, no, he is gone. We'll pick up Wallstead, and at least now we have a goalie prospect, and we got to clear a decent amount of cap. And then that brings me to Ian Mitchell, who is definitely on the outs and will be sent to the Boston Bruins for a first-round pick this year, 16th overall, and the 47th overall pick in the second round. Ian, thank you for your service. I thought you'd be a part of this team moving forward. It just didn't play out that way. We'll take that deal from the Bruins. So we free up a decent amount of cap in trying to make things work for Braden Point. The defense now, top 4, Jones, Pulock, Bookfist, and Dillon. We'll figure out who the third pairing options are. Might be Fitzgerald and Gilberts. Might be somebody else that we end up signing. I'm not entirely sure. And then forward-wise, again, DeBrincat, Kane, Point, Strome, Taves, Kubalik, Nylander, Barrett. That's insane. And I got a lot of players where I'm looking to trade away their negotiating rights. We are stuck with Jesper Foss this year. Tampa gets Mackey. Next time I could trade up is 13th with the Rangers. So really, I should have tried to trade up there with Tampa, but we just ran out of time. Damn. Damn. All right, let's go back to the trade finder. See what else we can do. Obviously, we already kind of started the process of like, hey, I'm not afraid to move. 74 and a 20 is still not bad. I know I didn't check to see what his overall and his age was, but I had a feeling it would be right about there anyway. So, I mean, you kind of know based on where he was drafted, what you set him to, because obviously I added him into the game. Kind of knew what we'd be dealing with there. Defensively, I do have some bit parts that I just want to get rid of. So let's take a look. And again, some people might think it's like, oh, well, you're screwing up everything that Mike set up. It's like, yeah, well, he's going to screw up everything I want to set up too, which is why I'm going to try to trade Peter Mrazek right now. Peters can stay. He might end up being our backup goalie this year. But what I want to do is just see if we can get anything for like Murphy's rights. Again, we're stuck with Brendan Smith. See if I can get anything for Bogosian, Ruda, and even Reinke. If I can just deal these guys somewhere, I wouldn't even know where. Probably not going to be able to get rid of all of them. That's a pipe dream, at least in the same deal. But let's see, like Philadelphia. Okay, you don't really have the cap space, though. All right, not going to be able to move all of you at once. Let me just try to get rid of Peter Mrazek. Is there a team
that is willing to take him for like a 7th? The answer is probably no. And even in that, you know what? It's not going to be worth that much. Let's not even bother at this point. Back to the trade finder. Just to double check here with our centers. You could argue points not needed when we have Strome and Doc, but you could easily move somebody over to the wing. And that's probably the game plan. All three are great centers, though. But, you know, we're going to be losing Patrick Kane soon. And having one of these guys move over to the wing to replace him sounds great to me. Obviously, Jonathan Taves under contract next year. Can I get anything for Devon Shore's rights? I can. 2 7ths, a 6th. The negotiating rights to Jake Gardner. It's looking like a 6th rounder is going to be the answer. A 6th and a 7th. So we'll go back and we will take that deal from, let's send him out east to the Philadelphia Flyers. So Devon Shore, we'll see you later. Trevor Moore, can I get anything for you? Yes, I can. A 7th. The negotiating rights to Connor Garland. Not a bad deal. He really doesn't have a spot on this team, though. The negotiating rights to Antti Ranta. I might regret not going for those. We'll send Trevor Moore to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Casey Cizikas. Can I get anything for your negotiating rights? The answer is a 7th. Send Cizikas out to Washington. And Connor Bedard goes 4th to the Nashville Predators. As we continue to just free up as much space on this team as possible. Kurashev can stay. Noshek can obviously stay. Might be a little bit overpaid. And then Jake Wise is also safe. That's not a problem. For the left wings, I'm just intrigued. Is there an offer out there for Patrick Kane? No, it's not surprising. Obviously, with Fortin and Kayumov, for what we signed them to, there's no reason to not keep them. David Camp, Hagel, Sorella. I mean, there are some people we could get rid of. Can I get rid of Vlasic? Because this guy is not good. No. So there are definitely some people I wouldn't mind trading. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of everybody. My only concern right now is just making sure that I don't keep somebody that I shouldn't. And I guess I you know, in a way, like, I want to trade Lackey. Like, you know, I want to use that value, but I don't want to be overly cheap about it. The problem is, right, it's like, okay, if I trade Lackey, it's just to get a draft pick to try and do better, essentially, because we don't have space on this team. So just double-checking forwards. Ideally this season, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, Fost has to be on the 3rd line this year. So we're talking about Kayumov and Fortin potentially being scratched. So in theory, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Taves and Kane potentially on the 3rd line this year with Fost or Barrett. I think we could trade Barrett. He's not going to have a spot on this team. He would have had we not picked up Braden Point. But I think Barrett's out of the top 6. Because again, now it's DeBrincat, Point, Strome, Doc, Kubalik, Nylander. I think we can move on from Evan Barrett. He and Kubalik are about interchangeable. Move on from Barrett because we have to keep Fost. So what can we do for one Evan Barrett? A 2nd and a 3rd. Helenius again. A 1st from Boston next year is currently the standard. Getting a 1st rounder. We're going with it no matter what. Even if that's the only deal. If the Bruins want to trade us 1st round picks, by all means, yeah, we'll take that. So it's a 1st round pick, a 3rd round pick, and this nothing prospect. I'm going to edit that really quickly. Detroit is going to cause issues. I just don't want that guy because Milbury's going to sign him. That's going to be dumb. So let me just see. I mean, a 1st and a 3rd's fine. Can I just add in a 6th rounder this year? Damn you, Detroit. Braden Yager. The Yager. Off the board. So like I said, really it's just trying to figure out, like, okay, who makes sense for this team? Try to set it up. Try to make it as Milbury-proof as possible But this is really just like, okay, how can I best set us up moving forward? I'll accept the deal for Sergeyev. We'll move Evan Barrett on. And from there, like I said, I think for this season we're good. I mean, the top 9's pretty straightforward. And then the fourth line is... Actually, shit, hold on. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 with Fast, or a healthy scratch. Then the fourth line's probably the same too. And then Fortin, Kayumov, Altai Barmakian, we'll see. But I think Quinville, Nosek, and Entwistle as the fourth line. And then we got a lot of guys who are fringe NHLers, for sure. And you got a lot of dudes that I could immediately trade right now if I wanted to. You know, Schutz included as well. That's the question, all right? Like, our top 4 defense, in theory, is going to be fine. Like, could I pair that medium elite with Ryan Pulock to try and bring in, you know, Morgan Riley or Quinn Hughes? Potentially. We might even do that, but then you got to factor in the money. And right now, I think any other major moves are restricted until we figure out what the hell's happening with Braden Point. So we do have draft picks. I'm going to want to trade up as much as I can because we own half the damn 7th round. As I did not want to go to the block, but we're going to have to figure this out. There are still going to be more trades. With the New York Rangers, what can I do to try and get that 13th pick without giving up one of mine? Although, if I give up the 22nd, and then how do you feel about me just tacking on a shitload of 7ths? How do you feel? Had a feeling you'd reject. What if I take out a 7th and I add a 6th? How do you feel now? Also not surprising. How about I add a 4th? No. How about I add a 3rd? First, a 3rd, and 3 7ths? What do you think? Still no. Selfish. Selfish, New York. You're selfish. What about a 3rd and a 4th as well as that 22nd pick? Still no. Well, my plan of getting rid of 7th round picks is not going all that well. What do you think now, New York? Quite far off. Okay. Well, you know what? I tried. Not really. I didn't try that hard. I was dicking around and I paid for it. Through the joys of wasted time. But here, New York, I think you're going to like a crap ton of 7ths. And I think you want to give me like a 4th round pick for them. I think you want to give me a 5th round pick next year for them. Thank you. Oh yeah, that letter of resignation if you didn't take that trade, I'm sure. San Jose took Fantilli. Fantilli, that's great. Let's see who else we have or what else we have. Trying to make moves, make it Milbury proof. It's like child proofing a house. It's like, okay, I'm just trying to get everything in order that I can so that Mike doesn't crack his head open reaching for something he shouldn't be reaching for. Will this work? Of course it won't. What about this? Thank you. Yeah, you think you won that. You probably did. Okay, so we own half the 3rd round. Still have the ability to move up again if need be. I do want to move up with that Ranger pick. We might as well. So let's see what we can do. I was going to say, although, let's see who else is in RFA, but it really doesn't make sense with how locked in our team is right now. So we'll take that pick there. And let's see if we can move up at all with the Rangers. We'll keep that medium elite in our back pockets. Quite far up. Jesus. They really value that pick, don't they? In theory, this isn't worth it to move up 9 spots, but it is. Yeah, there we go. I'll take that. I will take that because we want as good a prospects as possible. So, Matvei Michkov, Dvorsky, Tarnqvist. Jesus, Tarnqvist, Hartman. Okay. Who's left? Who is left? Andre Molnar is real. Peter is real. Riley Height is real. Lind and Sisek is real. So for computer-generated players, which is whom we are targeting, Victor Trafford is a target. I mean, Merritt's going to have a higher overall, but he's a medium 6. There's also Gilbert Sarrault, who we don't exactly know. He's 3 years out, though. That kind of sucks. And then there is Ladislav Janus, the Janus. Rick Nash comparison. Graham Brennan, we don't really know. Omark, 3 years out. Doug Cook, 3 years out. Colin Lehman. Okay. I gotta admit, the talent level I was hoping for here is it already went off the board, but trading up to get anybody else would have sucked. So the pick here for me is obvious. Take the top-rated computer-generated player that's left, and that is going to be Victor Trafford. And then hopefully Merritt is probably the pick after that. You could argue Sorrow. 3 years out. Merritt's 2 years out. We're going to go for Victor Trafford, the Canadian, with this pick. 77 medium 4. That's not bad. Was that worth the trade up? Debatable. Molnar and Peter are off the board. So let's see here. These two forwards. Abel Merritt and Mr. Sorrow. Let's go for Abel Merritt with this pick. He is a 70. Wow, he is significantly worse than I thought he would have been. Still a 70 at 18 years old isn't that bad. There are some question marks in terms of like, okay, who the hell do we take the rest of the way in this draft? Ezra Guerra. Great names. Right now I'm looking mainly at ETA. And there doesn't appear to be anybody late in this draft who's going to be close to being NHL ready. There was that dude who was an unconfirmed 2 years out. But for the most part, there might be a potential to draft, but in terms of an overall, it's not there. So that's rough. And then again, nobody here has a confirmed elite potential from what I saw. Hello, Morales. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? There is a confirmed medium elite in Peter Repik. They have other players that are close, but not exactly confirmed. Right. Okay. And then some low elites who aren't confirmed but are close. Fair enough. Our next pick is 44th overall. I think I'm good with simming out of the rest of the first round. There's really no guarantees. So we'll look back and see if I done goofed in terms of making that call. Height was a 74. Lind could have done a little bit better, apparently. With who we took out of computer-generated players, it appears to be the right call. Wow, there were some medium 9s in there. Yeah, that ended up being a pretty rough first round. And it really hasn't picked up in the second round. This draft is looking bad. Damn. I should have seen how good Kauppanen was. We could take the risk on Duke, Morales, and Repik sooner rather than later. Let me take a look at Kauppanen. The overall's not great. Is there anybody who has a really good overall? Ham Hughes is okay. Fabian Ranger is okay, but a confirmed medium 9. Yeah, we apparently picked a bad draft to have. Seems like Milbury had more to work with last year, didn't he? There was this goalie and Yzerman, the top-ranked goaltender. So the guys I'm interested in are 87th and 104. So this pick can very well be traded. Can very well be traded. Yeah, let's see what we can get for this. I'm going to have to actually trade back down a little bit. 2 second and a fourth. Anaheim, these are awful. Second and a fourth. The rights to Max Domi, which doesn't help. We're getting at least a second round pick for this. We have to. A second and a sixth. The rights to Bo Horvat and Kerfoot and Muzzin and O'Reilly, Tarasenko. Oh, stop trying to dump terrible players. Second and a fourth. Second and a fourth seems to be the going rate. Let's do that. Take it from Columbus next year. And then this pick. Can I get a third round pick in this year's draft, please? Oh my God. 2/3. Screw it. We're just going to risk it. Whatever. There is some value that I'm going to lose out on here, but does it really matter? Not really. It really doesn't. This is pure laziness on my part, and I fully admit that. But we are going to take a confirmed medium elite in the 19-year-old Peter Repik. And at the very least, we're going to have a very good value player here. He is a 56 medium elite at 19 years old. But again, just the trade value that we added to this team is absurdly high. And our final pick of this draft, I'm only going to make one more pick. It is going to be this dude here. I don't expect him to be franchise. We can presume that he is not. But if he is, that's going to be hilarious. My guess is medium 9. Ooh, okay, another medium elite, though. 48 overall. How old is he? 18. That's a hell of a draft right there. Very happy about this draft for us. And obviously, the big news from this point on is hey, we're about to negotiate with Braden Point. But those last 2 pickups were fantastic for us. So let's take a look. We made a lot of moves there. Braden Point. What's the deal? I can't negotiate yet. We got to wait until the next day. It's going to be expensive as hell. But if we can hold on to him, we're going to be looking good. We have a lot of staff that we're going to have to worry about. Of course, that's just how it works. But the question, $18 million, there's no way we can't sign him. We got Braden Point locked down. Absolutely perfect. We cleared so much cap. And whatever money's left goes to goaltending. Oh my God, are you kidding me? So now, even if we have to trade Alex DeBrincat because of how much money he's looking for, we have Braden Point. We are set. Absolutely set. I'm going to try to get him for 8 years. And, rather than ADP, it might be all about Braden Point. If we can sign this contract right here, I'm going to be laughing all the way to the bank and all the way to a Stanley Cup. Will Braden Point sign that deal? Rejected it for now. Okay, because we adjusted the duration, which is fine. Let's go to 8.8. Will he sign that deal? Advanced day. Still rejected. Okay, he's not too keen on the 85% trick, apparently. But even then, a 6-year deal? Let's see if the 85% trick works here, because he's been wanting to get paid a little bit more based on me adjusting the contract duration. Basically, $8 million for 6 years. If he signs this, this is the steal of the century. And yes, we are going to end up qualifying him in case I can't sign him. He might be, bugged here, if anything. Still, regardless, the money. 8.5 for 6 years, that's still an absolute steal. Please? He might be bugged out because the extension thing isn't showing up. Because he's technically new to the team. This is freaking me out a little bit. How many days do I have left to negotiate? Okay. We have to figure out something right now. And we're going to go. I got to be honest. Even signing him to a 6x9, very nice contract, is worth it. The only other option is to send a 1-year deal, which would still see him be an RFA. But if he's willing to sign that contract, that's still an absolute steal. Just not as crazy as it could have been. So let's find out. We're going to advance day. Braden Point signs 6 years. $9 million per. We have just under $11 million to renegotiate. Patrick Kane is signed for $7.5 million. We just added Braden Point. The coup of the century. That is unreal. And now you look again. It's not as cheap as it could have been, but still not as expensive as it could have been. You look at this team moving forward, potentially. We'll figure out what we're doing with the DeBrincat. But DeBrincat, Point, Strome, Doc, Kubalik, Nylander. And then for this season, you still factor in Kane and Taves up top. And Jesper Foss will probably be on the third line with them. I think our fourth line is sorted. And if Fost isn't getting it done, he can be a healthy scratch. It doesn't matter. And then Fortan, Kayumov, Altai Barmakian, even Kurashev could be given an opportunity. This is absolutely us going for the Stanley Cup this year. No doubt about it. It's just a matter of who our goaltender is going to be. And we don't yet know that answer. But we are going to sim forward today and see who's out there in free agency. But Braden Point has been added to this team. Boone Jenner's gone. Evan Barrett's gone. We had to move some pieces, some names, some faces around. But it's hopefully going to work out for us. Goaltenders. Who's out there? Carter Hart. Now that raises the question. How about reusing players or using players in multiple series? But Carter Hart's there. And we do have the draft picks to pick up Carter Hart. If it's not him, it's Ben Bishop. It's Antti Ranta, probably Bishop, on a 1-year deal. Carter Hart is available. Defensively, we need a third pairing. We'll figure that out as best we can. We need a cheap third pairing. Forward-wise, we're good. Forward-wise, we're fine. This team is set up right now. We don't need one of these big top 6 additions. Not even close. Literally, we don't need anybody. We're fine. The forwards are set. We just need minor leaguers. Defensively, we need a third pairing. The question is goaltending. And again, you talk about the options with this team. If it's not Carter Hart, but we're not confident in someone like Ben Bishop, then you start to get into, okay, do we not necessarily want to use Patrick Kane, but do we use Repic? Do we use Schutz? Do we use Morales and his trade value to make something happen? Of course, Wallsted's in the minors right now, too. That is the question. Because obviously, we already have the Bruins' first-round pick next year and Columbus' second. It really doesn't hurt us to give up 2 to 3 picks for Carter Hart. It's just, do we want to use him when he's already being used in the LA series? And again, if we don't, and we don't trust Ben Bishop, we can go look around for a little bit more of an expensive option. We're listed as a rebuilder right now because we don't have goaltending. But we are going to solve that issue. We will stop it here. An eventful episode. And the next one, guaranteed at this rate, I would say, to be just as eventful. Looking forward to seeing what you have to say down in the comments. Again, drop a like on the video if you haven't already to support me and support the channel. It is greatly appreciated. Check out everything in the description if you have not already done so. All the links, socials, everything you need. And of course, a shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. I love each and every one of you. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Take it easy. Wash your hands. Stay safe. I'll catch you next time.